Playing that Miami Vice music right there.
Say, listen.
Tubbs, what's up?
Hey,
I got boss land right there.
That's that boss land. All right, man. So we got some breaking news. We know who our coach is, and we talking about that today. The D. Mm-hmm. We said Zimmer or Rex. Landlord is Zimmer.
Yes, sir. We got us one. Live from Albuquerque. Landlord from Albuquerque. You know what I'm saying? This just in, we finally got our defensive coordinator that we all been hoping for and wishing for.
Yeah.
Mike Zimmer. Former Dallas Cowboy defensive coordinator back in the 90s.
Yes.
And he won a Super Bowl with us too. So, hopefully he can bring back that Super Bowl atmosphere that we all desire back to Dallas. What you think about it, Mr. Boss?
Man, I wouldn't be right if I didn't pass it to the OG in the building, who also kept it real and was always balanced on this, where I heard my brother say he would be good either way. So because we flexible, we was going to talk about Rex and some film.
Right.
But guess what? We flipped it in 1 minute. What's your thoughts?
Well, like I said, we just talked about it behind the scenes where, first off, appreciate you having me on, but we just talked about it behind the scenes where we talked about the fact that Rex Ryan, he's more like you have like a PhD in defense by the time you learn that defense. And maybe with the overturn and the short off season in regards to like everyone on this defense picking it up and learning an entirely new, intricate scheme, they probably wanted to go with somebody who has a history with the Dallas Cowboys, and two, has a scheme that really, I would say, is easier to pick up. Not easier to beat, but easier to pick up because Zimmer makes everything look the same. You know what I mean? So with that double A-gap scheme, it's not real hard for you to understand what's going on or what your assignment is. And you can build on that by just changing or adding different wrinkles to that same look. But that's how he elects to confuse quarterbacks. And like I said, I'm not mad at it. I'm for the 3-4, honestly, in the base because we got that toy in Micah Parsons. But I feel like the way Zim crowds the A-gap, you still can do certain things with Micah Parsons standing there and use him as a chess piece either way. So, it'll be interesting. And there's looks on the film where you can kind of imagine different opportunities for Micah Parsons in that defense.
All right, man. We gonna kick it off.
Move.
I want.
Shout out to my young boy Capers too.
Let's go.
I-35 with the top down, quick to tell a hater they should get like me. Seem like everybody wanna be the boss, but it costs and these lames ain't like me. Drop a couple bands on the crypto fans, no way go. I ain't gotta tell them what it is.
Got a couple of bands on the crypto.
So you'll never fool me with the cap you be selling to the kids. Shorty, we the lords of the land, we wavy. Bad little mama tryna have a baby. In a coupe seat color like gravy. Children of the sun, why these so shady? Boss talk with the wolf pack, I ain't never look back. Got a couple bands and I flip that. I be chillin' with my shorty, got the crib on karate. Keep up, little baby, that's a kickback. Can't flex on the living hate free, but he say real, but I know that can't be. Paying for the late fee, hit her from the side till I get home safely. Got 3 chains on me, neck strong, and a checks long, and I'm up now. And I make little baby feel good in the hood around you. Shorty can't put a cup down. Glide through your hood like soap on a runway. No sleep, check a bag on a Sunday. Get it in a moment, I don't gotta say one day. He's cool, he don't really want gunplay. Slide to your side like a spoon on ice cream. Say I'm falling off, baby, that's a pipe dream. Everybody win when they ball for the right team. Shine like a star, I'm a light beam.
Man, that boy say everybody win when you ball for the right team.
Ain't really much you can say to a G. I'm on the road, I'll be everywhere they pay me to be. These ballin' on the internet, stop. I take some words and I turn them into profit. Retro 3 jersey, I'm the answer. Please stop hating on the king, that's cancer. About to sling an album.
our boy Landlord started something. He called you Slam Williams.
Yeah.
He wants to know will you adopt that name from being a slam artist like how you did on boy from Detroit, man. When you think about adopting the name Slam Williams.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You keep looking for a flip, for real. That's not wealth, that's rent, for real. 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 Really real. Really real. Really real. Really real. For real. For real. For real. For real. No leaves on the whip, for real. I get bored, I take a trip, for real. Take a loss, I never trip, for real. Been in shock, I'm not a lick, for real. Don't trust the source on my hip, for real. Make a move and you get hit, for real. No pictures by the crib, for real.
Man, come on. Let's go. Hey, let's go, man. We got Akoye in the building.
Do it.
Man, let's go, bro. You already know, huh?
Man, it felt like I ain't heard that song in a minute,
Man,
boss.
that had me
Hey,
so wired up,
Going
bro.
hard right there.
For real.
what
we was
happened to
over
Boss Land? We got to give it back to the people now. Let's
Man,
get it.
we got to give it back to him, bro. We definitely got to give
Got
it back
to.
to him, man. So we got the OG Terrence on his way, man. He just trying to figure out the tech end. You know, we cool with that. We fly planes, bro. It's easy to us. So, man, let's go ahead and continue this conversation, though, bro, because I'm excited about this. There it is. There we are. Now we just got to make sure your volume good, big dog.
You hear me?
Yep, you in.
Yeah, we can hear you.
True.
One more test real quick, man. Say what's up to the people.
Testing, 111. Let's
All
go.
right, you good. All right, we good. We got
He
you.
better be
He got
good
the
with that
battleship
spaceship
over
over there, man.
I'm about to
You
say,
know
he got
what
the
I'm
whole
saying? He in the
battleship.
spaceship.
Hey, and Terrence, don't be starstruck looking at me. You feel me?
I like that little, I like this little setup. Yeah, I like
Oh
that.
yeah, man. No, we always fly. We always fly, man. And, you know, it's new
We
media.
live right now?
Yeah, we live, bro. You all the way
we
live.
are.
You walked into
Yeah,
you walked into the lines, did.
Yeah, I like that.
At least he ain't coming in cursing though, like we did.
Glad you ain't say nothing you ain't supposed to say. So
Ooh.
we good.
No, we all the way live, bro. All right. So Akoye, man, Terrence, we want to hear from y'all first. Obviously, is that cool with you, Landlord? We hear from them on Zimmer, like they the guests. I think that's the right thing to do. So Akoye, man, go ahead. You was cooking.
Oh man, like I said, I feel like if you were looking for a scheme that's easier for these guys to pick up and learn and implement and understand across the board, it's Zimmer. Due to the fact that number one, he runs a scheme that's very it's multiple, but everything looks the same. So once you look at his double A gap pressure scheme, regardless of who's blitzing or who's coming or going or covering, or regardless of what the back end coverage is, he mugs the line of scrimmage and makes everything pretty much look similar. You know what I mean? And then he'll add different wrinkles to that, but you pretty much know where you're expected to be and what you're expected to do. And then when you look at TP's brother and Micah Parsons, and you look at different things that he can do on the field, you can still see how a Zimmer would use him, where you would take he can do everyone's role from a Anthony Barr to a Daniil Hunter to a Kendricks on this defense. So you can still move Micah Parsons around and have different jobs for him within this defense, but it's easy for him to come in, plug and play, and know, hey, if I'm lined up here, I still know my assignment. I think everybody on this defense will know everyone's job pretty quick. You know what I mean? So I like the pick as far as temperament, and I like the pick because if you're just saying we want to be able to just pick up and go now and go fast, his defense is the easiest to learn out of the two. I would say that I still wanted Rex Ryan because I felt like he would have used Parsons as like that chess piece as a toy, and he would have been everywhere. So I like the 3-4-4 Parsons, but if you're looking for a guy that could just get us, where we're trying to go the fastest, I still see Zim being that guy. So not mad at that. He was my second pick, but I still love it.
Yeah, man. Obviously, great analysis.
I'm gonna go right with him. He took everything that I could have said. He hit that joint right on the head for real.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, like I said, we needed a coach that can take Parsons and just make him that guy. When we talked about it yesterday, boss, actually, remember we said like, because I was one of these kids, man. I was a kid like had ADD, I was bad as hell, and I said like the guys that if you want your guys like Sam Williams, you want your Micah Parsons and those guys to be fully engaged, instead of trying to just leave them out to their own devices. You tell them that you need them. You tell them that you're relying on them, and you run everything through them and make them the active member of your defense. And if you do that, I think you'll get more engagement by those guys, and you'll get more out of them. So I feel like the way we used Micah Parsons was more so we relied on his talent only, but we didn't really incorporate him as our focal point of the defense.
Yeah, I agree, man. One thing I do like, one of the characteristics I like the most is like, I like Rex Ryan more, because of I like all the exotic blitzes and stuff that he liked to do. But at the same time, he was so far removed from the game, and I don't know how tapped in he was to current vibes. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of new modern stuff that didn't happen in those 9 years he been in. So not to say that he wouldn't be able to pick up on it, but that would have been something that we would have had to see, for ourselves. But Mike Zimmer is not too far removed from that. Yeah, Mike Zimmer has not been out the game super long, so we'll just have to see how he want to play it. But I think we have better tools that he done had in Minnesota as well. I feel like Dallas got a better corners, and we got a special pass rush and Micah Parsons. So I feel like I see that the way he liked to mug the A gap with those two linebackers. I don't know who that would be, whether it'll be Micah and Damone Clark in that situation, and you can see them alternate who come and who drop back in coverage. Maybe you get Micah Parsons with some interceptions. We've been looking. Hey, Micah, get you an interception in this thing. Now, hey, I think before the season he said he was gonna get 2 of them. Now, hey, Micah, we need you to get you a pick now. So, hey, maybe Zimmer can set them up and put them in those situations to be able to drop back and confuse the quarterback. Because if you mugging the A gap like that and bringing some outside pressure from the cornerback, like slot position and stuff, you don't know who's coming at times. And it'll be like one thing you see pre-snap, then post-snap, you see something totally different. So causing that confusion with the quarterback, it should result in some turnovers and help the pass rush out too. Because the more you make the quarterback think, the more opportunity, the more time that you give Parsons and all our other pass rushers to get home. So I like the way he ran his scheme, though, man. Anybody that's aggressive, anybody who's not afraid to run some blitzes and stuff like that, run blitzes. Is it me or we rarely seen run blitzes from this team last year? We seen a lot of pass rush. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we didn't do it. We wanted to bring 4 almost every play unless it was third down. We were very predictable in that aspect of the game. But when you learn this defense, like when you look at it on film, you'll see at times where the center might point.
Hold on,
left,
real quick,
right.
Akoye. Let's go ahead and show him. Let's go ahead.
All right, bet.
Let's
pull the
you
film
know
up.
what I'm saying?
Because you'll actually see that on
start that cuss stuff. Let's do it.
Let me jump back on this screen.
Let's go.
Let me see if I can control it from here. I need to jump on this other page. All right, I'm gonna jump on the other page. So yeah, I'm not gonna see y'all for a second.
That's cool.
Hit play. Like I don't know where I started on this film. I just jumped in. But when you look at all right, let me pause it every time I see something.
Right there. Right? Cornerbacks at the line of scrimmage. That's what we need.
Yep, right here. So I actually talked about this, Terrence. So you hitting it right on the head with that, because we were talking about in this film when I did it. If I were to take the mute off, you could hear me say, with a guy who wins, and I actually quoted you because I was listening to one of your shows. I think you did with Law and Boss and Ray, I believe, where you were like, my Parsons can win, your brother can win in about a second. But when you're lined up like in that Eagles game, 15 yards off the ball, you don't have time to get there. But with Parsons, if Parsons were on the edge or if he were blitzing in this particular package, you just got to think about, how fast these guys would have to get open on the line of scrimmage. And we got a bunch of press cover corners that actually can do that job. I think this is a play where they're going to throw a back shoulder. But when you look at how long Zimmer forces quarterbacks to hold the ball, because right now, if you look at the screen right now, you got Xavier Rhodes at the top of the screen. He's playing stat coverage. There's really nothing technically open here. They're playing cover one with some zone in the middle. I think they're playing like match man in the middle, actually, but with those linebackers. But when you look at the bottom of the screen, you got number 26. He's playing stat coverage on Adams. And there's really, as they develop in this route, even right here, by the time he lets this ball go, there's nobody open. This is just a grow and a great play by Adams. Although they score on this play, there was nobody open there. You get what I'm saying? So when I look at that and I say, all right, this is how long you're going to force, quarterbacks to hold the ball, and you're going to confuse guys like Aaron Rodgers on a regular basis with this scheme. Like, if you could confuse him, you could confuse some of these young guys, because this is in 2016 when I did this footage, or when I took this not when I made the video,
Zimmer.
but this is what the video,
of
this is
Zimmer
where I took
basically
the video
going against Aaron.
Yeah, this is Zimmer versus Mike McCarthy. Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
So
when you 2016. Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yep. So when you look at that and you say, okay, at this time in the game, though, you had quarterbacks that were still in the game that could sit back there and assess it, had better pocket presence. Now you got a lot of guys that are going to make that one or two reads, and they're going to be gone. That's just the way they are now. So when you look at how long he forces you to hold the ball, that's a lot more pressure than and a lot more sacks for the Cowboys than you would expect, because they play coverage in a way that forces quarterbacks to hold the ball a little bit longer than they want to. So if you're a one-read guy, go ahead.
Just real quick, because I already know what people go be asking. Let's go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty. Everybody want to know how he go match up against the Shanahan tree.
Well, if you look at the fact that the Shanahan tree is a cover 1, cover 3 beater, and I don't know why people are so afraid of it, because other than the game that kind of got away from us earlier this season, they ain't like they torching everybody. And if you look at it, people are afraid of Shanahan's offense, and they say it because the media says it.
Right.
When you look at, let's just be honest, no BS, no cap, right?
Right.
Let me come back over here so y'all can see me while I'm saying this one real quick. Hold on.
All right.
This button. Stop sharing. Check this out though. When you look at the Detroit game, was it Shanahan's offense that won that Detroit game, or Shanahan's defense?
Shanahan's
defense, right? The Green Bay game, was it their offense or was it the defense?
The defense again.
Defense. When they beat us, the 2 times they beat us in the playoffs, was it their offense? Did they light us up?
Defense.
Nah. Even in the game, it looked very lopsided in the game when they beat us 42-10, right? We shut down C-Mac in that game, and Debo didn't even go off in that game. So it's not like Shanahan's offense has been this thing that we can't figure out. And when you look at that McVay tree where they run those deep crossers, we shut that down with the Rams this season as well.
So basically,
very
Akoye say, I ain't falling for the hype. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm not afraid of Shanahan's offense as much as I am us not being disciplined in big moments. That's what happened to this team. It wasn't we didn't know how to play. It was every time, if you pay attention, every time we started winning consistently and we thought we were the hype, we would lose. Right. That's when we would lose. When we were going into that game, we were hype. Dak was even talking a little bit of smack. Everybody was talking a little trash, and we shit the bed. Excuse my French, but we did. Against the Eagles, same thing. I don't remember which game Jerry said, let's not kick the bear. Dak like, hey, pour honey on me. Every time we felt good about ourselves, we just didn't know how to handle success.
That's what we don't do, man. We handle success like trash. So
It ain't about Shanahan. Yeah.
Akoye, Terrence, y'all already know Landlord, we got a hymn segment, all right? So this hymn segment gonna be able to go wherever you want to go. So this how we go do it. Now that we got Zimmerman, what's gonna be the hymn? Who gonna be the hymn? Yeah, I keep saying Zimmerman.
Yeah,
bro. Thank
everybody
you, bro.
gonna say that. I've been hearing that all week. Zimmerman.
I don't know why I be doing that,
right.
and I
did
listen,
it too.
all my thumbnails say
Zimmer
Zimmer.
sound incomplete. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Zimmer sound like an incomplete name.
Thank
It
you
don't
for
sound like
correcting
the
me on
whole
that,
name.
bro. Thank you, bro, because I did it the whole show yesterday, and I was so mad when I listened to that show. I was like, "You big dumbass." Here we go.
Walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him.
All right, we finna go around.
Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold
Let's
up.
go.
Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really.
Him Johnston.
Yes, sir. So I said Mr. Mike Zimmer, the man of the hour. You know what I'm saying? He is him right now. And it'll be interesting to see what's his, order of operation. Because maybe he might have to, I'm sure he's going to have to bring some of his guys in here. Aiden Dirty possibly might be over there to Seattle. Who knows? That job ain't been fulfilled yet, have it? I don't think so. But he's a candidate for the Seattle job. Then you got Joe Witt leaving. It's a number of jobs that he's going to have to fill on his defense to bring it to be him, bring it back to his own, for him to feel comfortable. So it'll be interesting to see who his position coach is going to be because we're going to have room for it. Now, maybe he got to keep Al Harris. Maybe. We'll have to see how that plays out. But I want to see who his defensive line coach is going to be if Aiden Dirty leave. I want to see who his linebacker coach going to be because, hey, we need to put some accountability on Mr. McCurley. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like what I seen from this linebacker core. But, maybe he need to bring in a new linebacker coach and stuff like that so he can build his defense to what he wanted to be. So I'm happy that we at least went ahead and committed to somebody because we got draft right around here. We got scouting to do. We need to figure out what scheme we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough time to be playing around. So I'm glad that we at least went ahead and, committed to a coach. So now we can move forward in that process. So I like Mike Zimmer being the guy. I'm not opposed to it. Wasn't my number one option, but he was a close two though. I like him as a coach, and like I said, he's not too far removed, and he's had some successful defenses in Minnesota, and I don't even think they had as much talent as we got. So maybe he can get the most from it. I'm sick of all these defenses badly getting, we getting the bare minimum from these defenses. You remember like Papa Rye used to get more from his players.
Man.
They overachieve.
Boy.
I'm sick of, we got superstars. We got all pros on this defense. Let us overachieve. Let us overachieve for one.
Yoga.
And I like Mike Zimmer in this aspect. He's not going to be your friend. Did you hear Darren Wilson talk about him? Darren Wilson was like, he's not going to be your friend. He'll light the fire that they need in Dallas. Like I said before, the level of difficulty is a little higher in Dallas. It's hard everywhere, but it's very hard for us. So we need somebody to come in here, no nonsense, hold these boys accountable, and light a fire. So this right here gonna absolutely separate the real from the fake. Because Zimmer ain't gonna come in here playing and dapping y'all up and being your buddy. He gonna hold you accountable and he gonna make sure you do what you're supposed to do. And if you don't, it's gonna be hell to pay. So I love it. Somebody gonna have to, they gonna be accountable. I love it. I ain't gonna lie. I got me a spitting coach, what I call him. A spitting coach.
So,
Thanks.
Terrence, who him? Who gonna be him? Who gonna be affected by this? How we gonna win a Super Bowl?
I'm not even focused on the Super Bowl. I'm more focused on what we're gonna see in training camp, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm gonna judge from right there in training camp. But honestly, I feel like it'll be good for the defense. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got to learn anything really new. Similar scheme. It's gonna come down to who want to play. Honestly, like who wants to play. And like Landlord said, man, he's not going to be your friend, you know what I'm saying? When a guy's your friend, you know what I mean? You feel like you can joke off a little bit, you know what I mean? Not really You know what I'm saying? But when you know, man, I gotta go answer to him in this film session, man, it's gonna be a difference. I feel like. That's why I wanted to wreck Ryan, because he's the same way. You know what I'm saying? He's the same way. No nonsense, no toleration for nonsense. And, you know what I mean? Great defensive mind. I feel like Zimmer's gonna be a good fit. I don't know what it's gonna look like year one, but definitely, I think it's a good hire for sure.
Okoye, before we go to you, big dog, on this him, I have to play this, big dog, because I think it's gonna sum it up.
A huge fact. I don't know if we would have lined up if we would have.
Good thing there was no social media there.
God. I wouldn't be walking around with these rings.
Oh, my goodness. I got to ask you about Mike Zimmer, who you know very, very well. And Zim, I mean, we've kind of been campaigning maybe to try and get this defensive coordinator job. It's out of our hands. But what can you tell us about Zim and the type of coach he is?
I'm biased, man. I spent so much time around Zim. I know how much he cares about the game. He's from a background. His father was a coach. His son Adam, who, God bless him. God rest him, man. Yeah, it's a tough one. But who just passed away, was a coach as well, and it just runs in his blood. It's just, this entire season, he's pretty much sat on the sideline, and I can't tell you how many times this year he and I talked about football, like every week. Yeah. Like every week he's calling about so-and-so and this and that, and he's just so engaged in the game that, again, I'm biased by it, but, if you want someone that's going to shock the system, he's not going to be your best friend. He's just not. I mean, he and I became friends after a long time because there was a respect factor that ended up being a friendship. But he's tough, hard-nosed. Some players will not want to play for him because the expectations are going to be harder than they've expected in the last few years.
Sure.
But he knows the game better than anyone, and he's going to coach hard. And I think that, to me, that's the shock this team needs.
Speaking of coaches, how special was it to see Jimmy?
Max.
He hit that right on the nose. He hit that right on the nose. Man,
100%.
That's exactly what we need.
That's exactly what we need, man.
Man, when you go back to the way we lost the games that we lost this season, you kind of know automatically, man, like we needed someone who can rein them in because we were making the same mistakes over and over again. So it's one thing to get beat physically where you're just up against a guy like a Trent Williams and he's just going to beat you, right? Or, you're up against a Lane Johnston and he just beats you. Or, a quarterback is just keying in on you and they can just beat you. It's another thing when you're making the same mental mistakes over and over again. That means, one, you're not being taught or called out on what those things are. Because I doubt that these guys are so dense that they can't learn. I don't think that. So it's that they haven't been honed in on. When you look at guys like Sam Williams, who had penalties that kind of kept him on the sideline, there was nobody that can hold him accountable enough to make him up his level or change his game. You get what I'm saying? Like, we had a lot of misfits in Dallas when Zim was here back in the day. You know what I mean? So keeping a group like that, like the Leon Letts, Russell Maryland's, Michael Irvin's, keeping those types of guys in check. If you got a room full of alphas, you need a stoic figure that they respect in order to keep guys like that in check. And it has to be a meritocracy. It can't be any nepotism going on with that type of room because you got a bunch of guys that really, fly by the seat of their pants and do what they want to do. And I'm not saying this is just a wild locker room because I think it's far from that. But I think these guys are looking for that push and that level of coaching, you know what I'm saying, where they can maximize their game. So I feel like if you're asking me who's going to be him for Zim, I think it's a twofold question or twofold answer because I think if you look at Zim's defense, three names come to mind, but two positions. Middle linebacker or linebacker because you had Kendricks that was a staple and you had Barr that was a staple for him, right?
And he was a chess piece.
Right. And then you had Harrison Smith. So we have a number of safeties that are rangy, that are smart. And I think guys that kind of were in that doghouse here before last year will get out of it under Zim because of their ability. Like Wanye, like Izzy Mukwamu. Yeah. These are guys that you can line up and mug the line of scrimmage who can do a number of things near the line of scrimmage, whether it be blitz, cover it, the tight end in man, cover the slot receiver in man, and be trusted to do it. You saw Wanye do it against Thielen in the Carolina game. We watched Izzy have a hell of a game in the Tampa Bay game against a good receiver in Goodwin. So when you look at those guys being able, safeties like Darren Woodson being able to do that as well, he in his rookie year, he played a lot of slot and nickel. That allows us two things. One, we can stay in our base formation. We don't have to come out of 4-3, if we're only up against 3 receivers, because these guys are multiple enough to be able to come down into the box and you can trust them to play man. That's one. And then two, these guys are able to get back, and they are rangy enough to play that trail technique or play over the top. They could do a little bit of everything in this defense. So I love what he'll be able to do with both of those guys. I think that you'll see Hooker still do what he does, be that rangy sideline to sideline guy. But I'm excited for the safeties and the linebackers as it goes for Zim. And one thing Zim has here that he did not have in Minnesota, and you had people who got sacks, like your Jared Allens, your Everson Griffith, your Daniil Hunters. But when you watch on film how they're getting their sacks, there are a lot of coverage sacks, meaning you're holding the quarterback's holding the ball so long that those guys have time to get there. Because traditionally he's using really 2 1-techs. Kevin Williams, I think it was, and Limbaugh Joseph. He had 2 1-tech style defensive tackles in the middle of the field. And then his defensive ends are big guys that are more on the D-Law side of things, not really your traditional pass rusher. He hasn't had those types of guys. So that's another thing that he has here with the Micah Parsons, where, he early downs, he can line him up in that A gap. Micah could still be blitzing like you saw in Carolina, like you saw in a lot of games where Micah, especially the Miami game and the Washington game, where you saw him line up quote unquote off ball, but still lined up in that A gap, bringing pressure. Even in the Rams game, like I actually, I'll bring that footage in a little bit later, because I have footage of his sacks, because I counted them off, and out of his 14 sacks, I think about 7 of them came from the B or the A gap, from the interior, not just the edge. So he has a guy that he could do that with too. So Micah Parsons and these linebackers are going to benefit as well because of how multiple he can be. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see that, because these guys aren't going to have to think a lot. You're going to be able to rely on their athletic ability, and they're going to pick up this scheme pretty quick. But I think the temperament and the accountability factor will make what seems simple maximize their potential.
So the hymns, because I feel like it's some hymns on a couple of levels.
There you go.
Say Jerry and Steve and them him on this, bruh. Say what? Say what?
Don't tell me we got to get a front office some props this time.
We got to, bro. They him on this.
We rallied through that, but hey,
man,
we got to give
they are him on this, bro. This is a him move. Listen, they hemmed it. They did. Because, bro, we all was saying, what was we saying? This team, man, hold on. Let me see if I got Fuster King. I think I do. Listen to this. Oh, no, I ain't got the quote, but I got it written. This is what Foot said. And it was like, he said, you always like the cool teacher, but you remember your hardest teacher. This was fresh after that loss. I put that thing on his own thumbnail. So when you go get that guy, that's what we were always saying in terms of a disruptor, right? And a guy that loves football. And this is one thing that I was going to talk about today against Rex Ryan. I didn't know if he just loved football like some of these coaches, right? Because see, some people love TV. Some people love just football. So, like, for instance, I'm going to give you a perfect example. What's old boy name? Gruden. When Gruden was at Monday night, his whole design was to get back into coaching. He started a fire coaches association where he kept a scouting group. He was always scouting these teams and learning their audibles. So that's why the Raiders paid him, because he had a master plan to get back in the coach. So the thing that excited me about what Woodson was saying was he said, man, this dude was always calling me and talking to me just about football. So I think we got a yin and a yang now. We got the good cop and the bad cop, because we all know Mike
Exactly
McCarthy.
what I was thinking. Yep.
Mike McCarthy, come on, we already know, man. You kind of soft a little bit. Let me just say it. You kind of like the teacher. You the good teacher. We need the asshole, and we got one. So that's a him. Another him, I'm going to echo definitely Akoye, and I'm going to just be honest and say I stole this from Akoye. Yeah, our safeties go win under this. I'm telling you, I took that from Akoye. I'm just saying it again. But
I agree.
Micah finna win. Ooh, he finna win in a lot of ways. Because he needs somebody hard. Like when you as cold as he is athletically, you can tune out or give about 80% and you so good, people will still overlook it. You need, when I saw with my own eyes in his prime, Zimmer ripping roads, I said, okay, that's the type of coach you need for stars, in my opinion. A guy that's gonna keep you humble and hungry. You know what I mean? That's gonna rip you over the little things. This is the type of guy you need for stars.
Yeah, that's leadership.
Let me say something else to you on that one, boss. While you on that.
Yeah.
When you think about it this way, right? When you have, I don't want to say underlings, but lesser players, right? Guys that are just coming into this locker room, or rookies, or guys that are on the bottom of the depth chart. When they see that your coach is getting after your best player like they're just anybody else, it makes everybody step their game up, because when you see your best player either getting benched or chewed out or talked too crazy because they're not in the right position, right, and they're getting that type of push, you know that your job ain't safe if you're at the bottom of this depth chart. So it makes everybody ball out. It brings the level of competition up, because you don't want to be that guy that's, that's on the fringe but got to be talked to all the time in this defense. So that's also going to be an aspect. And when you talk about, or when you look at like the level of pressure that he can bring, like Parsons can bring from the A gap, it's just crazy to me. Like when I look at his film or when I look at his footage, it's crazy what I think when I think about what Zimmer is going to be able to do with him, man. Like that to me is why you could say, like you said, he's going to be him in this defense. When you watch what Parsons was doing all year as a rusher, and when you watch what he was doing from the A gap especially, I just think that it's a no-brainer, man. It's like you take a guy, like, look at him here, he's in the A gap right now, man. When you take a guy like Parsons and you bring him in the middle of the field and you make him 1 of 5 instead of 1 of 4. And when I say 1 of 5, I mean it could be in the 3-4, or it could be a middle linebacker where you got 4 other down linemen. Because when he's 1 of 5, like he is even here, you got that entire that 4-man line is going to occupy the line of scrimmage so that he can run free. And when Micah Parsons is running free at your quarterback, or has a running back to deal with, or has a center by himself to deal with, it's almost not fair. Like you see in this footage here, like that's not fair. So I know that when you said, like, hey, Zim is sitting there watching, just like Gruden was sitting there watching the film, and Woody said he was sitting there watching the film, talking football all offseason. I know when you watch a Micah Parsons, as a defensive coordinator that has a mind, you got to be salivating, man, because when you look at what he's able to do on the field, it's crazy what his raw ability is. And if you get him to a point where he feels like he's a focal point and that defense is actually being funneled through him, like we did in spurts, like we would do stuff like this and then just go away from it and not do it ever again. And it was crazy to me. Like the results of what was happening when he was lined up in that A gap, to me, was insane. People thought that I was talking about he should play linebacker because I just had this linebacker fetish or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm watching the film. He's great. He's great on the edge. But every time I watched him in here, something good happened for your defense, whether it be you getting the ball out quick like you see here. This is us in the 3-4 look, which is why I was going after a Rex Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Because I was looking at us in 3-4, but minus the 3, but that's him still being 1 of 5. But minus these 3-4 looks, if you look at what Micah Parsons was doing when he's just standing in the A gap, and I'll go to that footage so that you'll see, because this is just more so run fits out of the 3-4. But when you watch what he was doing from the middle of the field, especially like this game here or the Miami game, like every time he was in there, nothing good happened for the offense, you know, unless they improvise like right there. Every time, nothing good happened. He's off ball on this play. He's going to cover Eckler from the backfield, but nothing good happens for you when he's out there. You know what I'm saying? And now he got released just now because they took Eckler and put him in motion. Once you release him and you just put him out there, nothing good happens for you. He finds the ball easy. Like his run fist is like smooth, man. He doesn't have to do that much to get to you when he's off ball, because you can't just trap block him. You can't just find them as easy as they can when you just line them up at edge and say, hey, you just set the edge. You know what I mean? I love him on third downs and in passing situations, rushing from the edge. I would never say let's not do that, but let's earn it by doing this stuff on the early down so that we can get to that. Look at that. Like, look how fast he wins. Like, somebody who can win that fast, you're forcing action. You're forcing
from
guys
the
to
middle.
have to.
Yeah, that's just
You
right.
can't do nothing with him from there. So I
your
wasn't
whole
saying
offense
this.
disrupted. Because see, because you can't even plant your feet. You know, even your 1 seconds is still off. Everything is off from the middle.
Right. And I wasn't saying this stuff because, like I said, because I just want him there. I watched his film and I said, when you say consistent, like from the edge, he did good things, you know, but consistency in regards to almost every time, he probably affected 90% of the plays that he was in the interior. Right there, he was in the B gap. You know what I mean? 90% of the plays that he's in the interior, you're not doing anything.
I'm telling you, man, when he off the line of scrimmage, man, you kind of like you can't deal with him.
Yes,
you're right.
Yes,
you're right. Like,
that's a nightmare right there.
Look at this shit. Every time, every piece that I found, this was the easiest film to do, because every time I looked at him, I'm serious. Every time I looked at him in the A gap, I said, "Watch what happened when we put him in the A gap."
And so,
nothing.
And this is what people not peeping. That this is what Akoye is saying. Akoye is saying you got the match now of an A-gap coach, a guy that's gonna bring him A-gap crazy, an A-gap fool. Like when you dealing with Zimmerman, you dealing with an A-gap nut, and you dealing with an A-gap freak. So when you dealing with an A-gap nut with an A-gap freak, you finna have A-gap damage.
And I'm gonna tell you another thing.
That's the worst place you want pressure come from. That's the worst place in the middle. You can handle outside. You can handle outside pressure all day, but interior pressure.
Hold on, two people talking. Hold on, let me
go ahead, T.
You know, I'm finna have to get ready to slide real quick, so let me get this off real quick. And
I gotta get one thing in for you, bro. For you, this for you.
For us, when we played and we were winning championships, our teams were strong. I mean, the bond. I mean, we were beyond teammates. You know, I mean, we were good friends, and you know that was what made us unique. One of the things that I saw in the Green Bay game is when Jair Alexander pushed CeeDee Lamb, and there was no response.
Yeah.
See, I know you want to talk about that.
Yeah,
I want you to get that in before you go.
I just like how Moose was like, man, you gotta see it, man. Moose leaned forward, was like, man, if that was Micah Irvin, he said
that's when I was like, could you imagine pushing Micah?
That's it right there. He leaning
in that situation, and what would have happened? Alvin Harper.
Man,
we walked
look at
out
his
of the
eyes,
field.
Bro.
Yeah.
At the San Francisco championship
Moose
game in '92, that was what made us unique. One of the things that I saw in the Green Bay game is when Jair Alexander pushed CeeDee Lamb, and there was no response.
Ooh,
yeah,
he got up in his chair, bro. You ain't lying.
Yeah,
man.
He leaned forward like, "Hey, man, hey, we wouldn't allow that when it came to Micah Irvin, man." And I don't know. I have to go back and look at it, but who was around him? Because the people around him shouldn't have went for it. But of course,
I do got an answer on that, bro. And I'm being honest. You know I ain't no sucker, bro. You know I ain't no sucker.
Yeah.
You know I ain't no sucker. It was one time I was playing corner, man, right? And I made a play on the ball, right? And when I made a play on the ball, I got kneed in my head by that same dude. and I didn't even know he need me. I had no idea because it was so bang bang. You know what I'm saying? Because you know when you out there, it be bodies hitting you. You know what I mean? So you get hit in your head, and you not thinking somebody needs you, and so then boys began to come to me, and they was like, "Bro, why ain't you box him?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like,
You ain't realize.
I ain't even when I watched the film, I was like, okay, I gotta get him. Like so the next practice, I slapped him. You know what I mean? But in the moment, I ain't even know, bro. Just keeping it. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Just
I know how that can work, but at the same time, that's why I asked who was around him.
Because
even if
that's
he
real.
didn't notice,
that's real.
Somebody else supposed to stepped up like, hey man, you ain't finna be touching
That's
88
true.
like that.
That's
you know what I'm
true.
saying?
Yeah,
like
that's
you shouldn't stand for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I agree with Moose, man. Like I said, man, them boys ain't gotta tiptoe around these players, man. They gonna tell it how it is. They already got their skins on the wall. And I agree though, bro. Like if you see somebody doing that to your teammate, man, you supposed to step up. And at the worst, it probably would have been the offsetting penalties. Like we couldn't afford no penalties at that time. But after they seen how CD got pushed, because CD was off guard too. Like it was late after the play. The ball was on the ground. CD just standing there. Next thing you know, he get pushed in the back. Yeah. So once after all that time,
CD
it would have been offsetting.
So basically, CD was just being soft. Is that what we?
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's what it looked like.
Say it, Terrence. Say
That's what
it.
it looked like.
When I seen that, I said, "Oh yeah, he's in CD's head for sure."
Yeah, you can't allow that.
Boy, you been soft out here, boy. What you
Martellus
doing?
Bennett said? He said at some point somebody got to set the tone.
Somebody got to set the tone, boy. You out here being soft.
And that's your leader. That's a leader on this team. That's what you can't have. You can't have a leader doing stuff like that. A leader supposed to set the tone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You supposed to go out there. Look, this is a perfect example, and I'm gonna have to go and wrap it up. But
Damn.
I'll say this.
Man.
Look what happened with KC and Baltimore. At the beginning of the game, they ain't even kicked the ball off yet. Them boys fighting already. Travis Kelce and throw the kicker stuff all out the way. He just, with all due disrespect, them boys brought that intensity into the game. Soon as they out the tunnel, they look at them as ops. We're not friends, bro. We want the smoke. That's what I like about it, bro. You got to have that mentality. You can't turn it on and off. That's one thing I think this team failed to realize. Like, you got to be on that type of time the whole time. Like, you can't come in here like, okay, now it's time to be a savage. Like, nah, you got to be walking like Debo and them came in here the other year. They was walking through the tunnel on that type of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be on that all game. Soon as you pull up, you got to be in that type of mode, man. That's what I want this team to realize.
And I don't think CD soft though, man. I really don't, bro. For real, I'm fucking around.
I don't think CD soft either, but that was a soft moment, though. That was a soft moment.
You know who?
That was a soft moment.
Who came into the game with a chip on their shoulder, bro?
Yeah.
Alexander came into that game and said he's not gonna win today. Period. End of story.
Absolutely.
And I mean, the first
he had more edge on him, Terrence. I agree.
2 years ago, CD made Jair look bad. And
he did. He cooked him.
Very bad.
I don't think he ever forgot that. And he played like it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Say it. But I'm gonna get with y'all, boss, man. You know, I got
Landlord, man. Appreciate it, dog. We gonna hold it down for you, man.
Already, man. Y'all appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna get with you, though.
Yep, good seeing you, man. Talk to you soon.
Already, man. Shout out to y'all.
I'm finna flip it to some more football talk real quick.
Already.
We gonna go right back to X's and O's on this because that was more so kind of like he was kind of talking about mentality. Now we can stay with that, but I wanted to go to this because I think we got the right guys in the building for this.
Yes,
it's up to you to say that. For me, I think the middle of this defense needs to get better, hands down. And you and I have had these conversations in the past. Like when your guys up front can play at a high level, and you got a nasty linebacker. The linebacker does not have to be the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He could be kind of a jerk, and you let him be a jerk. That's the kind of guy that I'm looking for. Somebody that's slobbering on the weekends and, kind of Charles Haley-like.
Yeah, a little crazy.
Yeah, a little crazy. I want that guy. I want that guy.
Man, could you?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think your brother liked that though. I think he liked that. I think
He
when you
is,
watch,
but
there's no
you
way
need
you
more
can
than
watch.
one. You
Oh
need
yeah, you
more than
definitely
one.
need more than one for sure.
You know what I'm
But there's
saying?
no way you could watch that Penn State film, especially him in Memphis. He's just hitting anything moving. He's
Man,
a heat
that was
seeker.
his best
You
college game
you
by
watch
far.
that and say that dude ain't a game record in the middle of the field and ain't crazy out his mind. Like
I was
you
telling
lying.
Boss Cowboy
You
that
lying.
when we shot, what was that last week? I was telling him like he can be a Fred Warner type and then go get your quarterback. Like he could be
He
that
make
kind
Fred
of
Warner look pedestrian because he can do the things Fred Warner can do, like you said. But Fred Warner ain't gonna get you 15 sacks from the middle of the field too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He'll do that. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see it because I know that I know it's not a thought. I know that Dan Quinn underutilized these guys. And it's crazy to say that because he did great. We did good here as a team, as a defense while he was here. But just imagine the fact that we're saying that Dan Quinn didn't get the most out of this defense, and we still thought this defense was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was relying on these guys' natural talent. That's how talented these guys are. But if they are talented plus communicating, and I'll go back to one play, and I'm gonna put your brother on the spot on this one, right? You go back to a play like in that Green Bay game where they had that dig route, and the one play where they had him dropping coverage, right? You had him, Curse, and someone else in zone, but they were probably like
all in the same spot.
Yeah. So you could tell that I didn't blame them for that because when you're playing zone where you're just told to go to a spot and you play zone by just standing in an area, that's going to happen. But when you play zone where you're matching like you're playing man until that person is out of your area, when you have no one in your area, you'll do what Fred Warner and those guys do. You'll turn and look for someone else to cover when there's no one there to cover. You'll go find something to do and roam. And none of them did that because that's not what they're coached to do. And that just lets you know he was relying on their talent. And that's why we ran so much man coverage while we were here, because it's easy to tell a guy who just has the athleticism, hey, you match up against that guy and erase him. You don't have to think to do that. He's just thinking about what my man technique is going to be, but not, hey, this is what I need to do based on the leverage or based on where my help is and all that. You have to be able to do that and know that to play zone. And you could tell whenever we play zone, it was just loose, wide open space. And that's because of coaching.
These
guys can play.
Real quick. Let me pause everybody. It's very important.
Double up. The money I call up. Double up. The money I call up.
Boss Land.
Super Chats.
Something just caught my attention, bro. That's serious. So hold on, y'all. Landlord told me about days like this, so I want to address it. He said, great show, my guys. Lost my pops today to liver disease. Love what you guys doing. Bring that fire Cowboys content. Hey, man, so shout out, first of all, to you, man, and allowing us to be a place to where you can just kind of rest and just kind of get it off your mind, bro. Landlord told me when we first started this, he said, boss, this is way more serious than you think. And I didn't get it at first. He said, boss, I've been peeping the chat. He says a lot of people that's going through, and they go to us because they going through. They go to us because we give them rest, bro. So, man, first, I'm just pray for you, Father God. I pray for my brother and his peace. I pray that you just give him sanctuary and remind him of the lessons that he learned from his dad. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
So more to be. Amen.
My condolences.
Yeah, my condolences for sure, man. And it's big that you came here on a day like today. So appreciate you being here, brother. Won't forget your name.
Yeah. And then my boy Blackwell said, I want Wagner or Devin White to pair in the middle. So he putting us back on that middle discussion because I was leaning on that because of Woodson. You know what I'm saying? And what he said, it building the middle. And I can really see us doing something in that middle, like a Bobby Wagner, something like that.
I'm about to say, it won't be Devin White. It'll be Bobby Wagner. It won't be a Devin White.
Why you think so?
we're gonna have to pay Devin White.
Yep. So you think it's gonna be kind of like
Terrence is smart as hell.
yeah. And I like the strategy though. I do like that. Like a lot of people hate that. I like that strategy where you kind of go out the former greats that got a little bit left in the tank, and then try to make a run with them. Go ahead, Koya.
I agree with that too, because you can't go into the season just saying, "Hey, we're going to draft 2 linebackers," because at that position you need someone that could be a coach on the field. You know, a guy that's a veteran that's been there. So a Wagner type is a good pickup. Yeah, they can coach these young guys that you plan on drafting, Overshawn included. They can coach those guys up. Clark and Bell included. These guys need coaching from the position, not just from a coach. They need a guy in the room that they respect, who's done it, whose voice can resound in that locker room and kind of reverberate some of the stuff that Zimmer is passing down. So yeah, I agree with Terrence on that.
Yeah. All right, and then let me get to the rest of these super chats real quick. All right, so then Coach Maul, we got him up next. Let me see. And he said, "Boss, do Micah brother know that his brother could be the first 130 tackle, 17 sack, and 3 interception guy in NFL history?"
Yeah, I know that, man. Listen,
100.
If you follow me, you know that I've been preaching that he played more off the ball than anything because I know he can do at linebacker. And I know that first and second down, there's no reason why he shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? I always said that his position should be situational because he's a guy that you can move all over the field. You know what I mean? And training camp, he was talking about he played 7 different positions. This season, I was like, okay, I want to see 7 different positions because, you know what I'm saying? He's just a guy that, you know what I mean? He's always been able to do that. Like, he's an offensive player playing defense. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's a huge advantage for him because we don't have, well, we have it now, more so now, but before we didn't have these athletic guys playing defense, not these guys this big that can move this fast. And I've been saying from his rookie year, I feel like his rookie year was his best year when he could play both. You know what I mean?
My bad. I just had it. I was agreeing with you. My bad. Go ahead. No. I was agreeing with him when he said that. I was like, yo, this is my first time meeting Terrence.
I can feel you itching, man. I can feel you itching.
I've been saying that. Go ahead. Finish what you said, Terrence. I'm sorry, bro. You just got me hyped when you said that. I was like, yo.
Listen, I know ball, man.
I felt that boy ready to leave. Go ahead, though, T.
But, like, I'm saying his best year of production. I mean, I know he's obviously got better as a player. He knows what he has to work on, and he does work on those things. And that's why, like, I'd be telling people, you know what I mean? If you want more production from a guy, you can't look at him at the D line and say, okay, that's his best position. If you saying that, then you know what I mean? You not really looking for production. You're just looking for a guy to be dominant. And I feel like that's what he does. You know what I mean? He's dominating. If you want production, then you're going to move that guy. You're going to put that guy in positions to win. And it's going to help your team. It's going to be better for your team, man. That's all I was preaching all this year because, you know, when, you know what I mean, I watch the games and I see, you know what I mean, run fits are bad. They're terrible. Who's our best run defender? Mr. Number 11. So, you know what I mean? It's just when you draft a guy linebacker and then you're short on linebackers, why are you not using him as a linebacker? And, you know what I mean? And I was really happy that he went on this podcast and he was talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand people want me to play linebacker, you know what I mean? And we have all the packages in there for me to play linebacker. I'm not the one who calls the plays. And I've just been preaching that the whole year. Like, you can't look at a guy and say, oh, he doesn't want to do this or he doesn't want to do that. And, you know what I mean, without having background knowledge on the situation, you know what I mean? Me personally, I didn't even know, you know what I mean, they had, I mean, obviously I figured they had it all set up if he's supposed to be this chess piece, but it's just like, if he's supposed to be a chess piece, y'all talking about him being a chess piece, and then we hit the season, and he's not being used as a chess piece, you know what I mean, whose really fault is that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I was real high on Dan Quinn getting gone. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, wait. I don't know about that with Terrence.
I was.
I don't know about that with Terrence. I was there with you, man. You was co-signing Dan Quinn, man, last week.
I agree with that, man.
I was co-signing if we're still going to run his defense, let him run his defense. That's what I was co-signing.
Okay.
Right.
But if we could get a better guy, by all means, I'm getting a better guy.
Hold on, wait, man. Listen, I ain't got no favorites in here.
You see this guy? See this guy?
Doing it.
Number one bullshit guy. He do the wee woo wee woo.
It ain't sounding right.
I feel like the problem with Dan Quinn is just when you can't make adjustments, and you know what I mean. I'm watching your game plans, and I'm like, there's no way you went into this week thinking that this was going to work.
Yeah,
like,
that last
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, you got to jump in on that because I want to get your thoughts on that, Akoye.
No, I think like I said, I've been watching Terrence, and I feel like, you know, you gotta take into account, one, he's a family member of one of the players. He can't just come out and say, let's shit can the coach that hasn't been fired, and now that becomes news. You get what I'm saying? But I think it's very clear that both he and Micah kind of want, the writing was on the wall that Quinn was an issue. If Micah comes out and says just, I don't call the plays, he letting it be known like, I want to play linebacker. I'm not asked to. You know what I mean? But when you look at defense, it's very clear, right? If I asked everybody like, hey, what's the you know, who's our best defender on the field, whether it's run defense or just all-world defense, who's our best defender, you're going to say number 11, right? So it's only common sense that you say, hey, where should you funnel the majority of the offensive traffic on this defense then? At number 11, because you want to funnel it at your playmaker. When you're, no offense to these guys, but when you're funneling it at 55 or you're funneling it at 14 or 33, that doesn't make sense, because all three of those guys, regardless of who's playing, and I don't think anybody in the locker room would argue this, they were the weakest point of this defense. So why would you funnel all of your traffic, all of the offensive traffic at your weakness or at your weakest point, instead of putting your strongest guy there or your best guy there and funneling the traffic to them? You wouldn't funnel traffic away from Ray Lewis. You wouldn't funnel traffic away from Fred Warner. Why would you funnel traffic away from or make it easy for an offense to stay away from a Micah Parsons? I would make you have to deal with me. You're going to have to throw at him. You're going to have to run at him, and he's coming after you on third downs. You're going to have to deal with him every play. And then everybody else instantly gets better. And these guys that we're saying aren't that good suddenly start making plays. Because when I show him attacking the line of scrimmage, you see 33 making tackles, cleaning it up. You see 14 coming in and cleaning it up. You see other guys able to run free, because on some plays, like in the Miami game, Micah got sandwiched by 2 linemen and just went down. Him and D-Law took out 5 blockers, though. And then the rest of those guys could just run and make tackles. He didn't get not one stat on that play, but they made plays because of him, because of where he was in the middle of the field. So I can argue all day about this. You guys know I get passionate about him moving off ball because you make us have.
That was even a debate, bro. I just still don't understand where that goofy ass shit came from.
Man, I was saying it like, you know what I mean? There's just no way, you know what I mean? If you watch the games, there's just no way that, you know what I mean, adjustments weren't made, especially, you know what I mean, when the media's even putting it out. You either run away from them or you run at them. You know what I mean? If they are seeing that, and then as a defensive coordinator, you're not making adjustments to that, and you're stuck in your ways, then, you know what I mean, it's time for you to go. And that's just where I've been at with him since the Buffalo game.
Or when you make the adjustment and you see it, if you make an adjustment, like if you do something, right? If you whatever it is, it doesn't even gotta be football. If you've tried to achieve anything and you see that something works, the main thing that you're gonna go to is, let's do that again and again and again. They would make the adjustment at times, put them in the middle of the field, and something great would happen. And then they would do that maybe 4 times a game instead of 20 times, 60 times a game. I would make you do that all day. We're gonna see it. Do it until you stop it.
I gotta throw something at both of y'all real quick. I gotta throw something at both of y'all. Somebody said, "Stop holding Al Harris hostage."
You better hold him hostage.
That's what I'm saying, man. What we doing, man? Because
all right, so like, my whole thing with that is, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't want to leave if I was Al Harris. Me personally, I was just having this conversation, I think, last night, 2 nights ago. Yeah, I wouldn't want to leave if I was Al Harris because, you know what I mean? Yeah, Joe Witt already left. He's going to be the DC. If you're going to leave, you're going to want a promotion, right? Why would you want to leave to stay lateral? That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially on a team where you know their head coach is on his last year. Things don't go well. You know what I mean? Any new defensive coordinator, you know what I mean?
Might just trash you
There's
out of here.
no real commitment there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a year or two, I can be the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I pull my cards right in a year or two, I can be the guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I'm Al Harris, you know what I mean, I'm sticking right where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to make it work because I can get my foot right in the door. Let this thing go sideways a little bit. I can show that I can lead the defense. Yeah, I can get my foot right in the door for sure. And you know what I mean? And there's a whole lot of noise about it too. You know what I mean? Just like when it was with Kellen Moore, you know what I mean? Before they started putting him on the path towards the OC. You know what I mean? We saw that a mile away. I think I see that the same thing with Al Harris. You know what I'm saying? Definitely see that same thing.
So, Liz, I got to jump in real quick, Terrence. Hey, man, I'm going to be honest. Dan Quinn is getting on my nerves. Bang. He getting on all my nerves. It's like, bro, the more and more I'm watching how you move, the more and more I feel like you just walked into that last game asleep.
Sabotaged it.
Man, I ain't want to say it like that. I ain't want to say it like that. You said it way more G to me.
Terrence chose violence today.
You said it way more G to me. But man, I swear, man, like, cause
I was at that game.
Talk to me.
My mind. If anybody watching this right now sat next to me, you know, I was in the stands losing my mind. Like, there's no way. There's just no way. Like, for real. Like, I was saying, come hire me. I'd take a big discount. I'd take $100,000 a year. I'd get the defense right. You hear me? There's just no way.
Man.
We gave all that money, and we came in there against a team that we know wants to run the ball on us, and we ran down defense. There's just no way we can get it.
Don't make sense. Don't make no sense.
And then I'm watching you keep. Go ahead. Oh no, he did it with the fam. Go ahead, Akoye, man. Why he did it with the
What's up, youngin?
What's going on, man? We see
What's
you.
up,
We
man?
See you. What's going on, big dog?
I need some airtime, huh?
You on TV, big dog? All right, go ahead, Akoye, man. Because I'm just being honest, man. Dan Quinn is getting on my nerves. Like,
no, he had me dying when he said he sabotaged because I think when you look at all of our losses, it really it's not making sense to me. And I keep saying this because the biggest misnomer with the Cowboys, the biggest one, and it's the most obvious one, right? Because what you would say, what Darren Woodson would say, and everyone else would say is Cowboys can't stop the run, right? That's what people will say, right?
Right.
But they can stop the run. When they line up in a run fit that actually our personnel package that stops the run. Like when they lined up when they lined up in their 3-4 packages, nobody did jack against them when they lined up in that. They just didn't do it. When you play a game like Buffalo and you see 3-4 only two times,
that lets you know everything you need to know right
Buffalo. I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said that lets you know everything you need to know right there.
Yeah, like you see, come on, man. It's like you know that they're doing it. It's not like that. I can see if you're saying like the game is balanced and they might be trying to catch us with some play action. Well, make them show you that they're going to throw at your run fits before you just abandon it. And they abandoned it where we were actually on film every time we came out there in 3-4 stopping the run. When you took Evans and you put Evans, the top 20 first round draft pick, middle linebacker,
the
real you put him in the game,
actual linebacker,
stopping the run. You know what I'm saying? When you put Micah Parsons,
Yeah,
Micah Parsons
we
went
stopped
top
the
10.
run.
How do you go top 10 or damn near top 10 and you set out an entire season and still went top 10 at linebacker, a devalued position, quote unquote? You still go top 10 after sitting out. That's how good he is at linebacker.
Yeah.
And you take that guy and you don't put him in the middle of the field either to stop the run after seeing him do it. Not only rookie year, but this year. Every time you put him in the middle of the field instantly, and he wasn't even doing it. I'm gonna be honest. He wasn't even making reads. He would run straight through guys. Two guys would be there blocking him. He'd run through him and still make a tackle in the backfield. So if he can do that, what's going to happen if you leave him in there for an entire game in the middle of the field? He's going to wreck a game. So the fact that you saw that and didn't do it, that didn't add up to me, because you can stop the run and get into those third and long situations that you want to be in anyway. So I don't know what he was thinking. I don't get what he was thinking. Didn't make no sense.
Real quick, y'all, let me catch up on these super chats.
That's not a
and
guy that you want to lead your defense.
Hell no.
You can't be a guy that you want to lead your defense, like, for real. And I like Dan Quinn. I like that what he did for us, you know what I'm saying?
He's a good dude.
But I just felt like, you know what I mean, what he did was real simplistic, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep telling people, like, the blueprint is out on him. Like, you know what I mean?
Terrence, I want to ask you something, bro, before I get back to these super chats. Because I just thought of this. Remember you said when we did Ray's podcast, you said you felt like Dan Quinn lost the team when you looked at how the defense played versus Green Bay. Like, why do you think he lost the team, and like, how did he lose the team in your opinion? Just your opinion. I know you ain't speaking for Micah. He ain't putting words. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think, you know what I mean, you lose a team, you know what I mean, when the things that we're saying, you think that they're not thinking the same thing? You know what I mean, as players?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you think they're not thinking the same thing? They know the game at the high level. You know what I mean? They know.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the things that we see, you know they're seeing it. You know they're feeling it. So it's just like when you go to work every day, and you know what I mean, whether you're buddy with the coach or not, you know what I'm saying? When you're speaking to a coach, you know what I mean, and he's hearing you out, you know what I mean, this is what we could do better, you know what I'm saying, or he's not getting your input, and he's stuck in his ways and things like that, he's not trying to make those adjustments, and you just see week in and week out, like, the players know when they got out schemed, the players know that, you know what I'm saying, and it's just, you know what I mean, it don't sit right, you know what I mean, okay, a game or two is just like, all right, whatever, you know what I mean, but like, when it's a consistent must-have game or a consistent big game and your defensive coordinator is just missing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean, that starts to resonate, especially, you know what I mean, when you came into the season talking about how this is going to be an historic defense, you know what I mean? You can't be a historic defense looking like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and that's just, you know what I mean, I think that's where it really came from, you know what I mean? And like I told him, it was really that Buffalo game. Like, it started in the Niners game, you know what I mean? The Niners game, it happened, you know what I mean? You could be like, all right, it's still early enough in the season, scrap it. You know what I mean? We ain't even going, you know what I mean? We're not even going to watch film on that. Forget it. Throw it away. You know what I mean? But then, you know what I mean? You get all the way, what was that, Buffalo week 13?
Yeah.
You
Week 13, and, you know what I mean? We expecting Josh Allen, drop back pass, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, oh, Josh Allen going to throw us at least one or two. You know what I mean? At least one or two.
Right.
You know, he loved throwing that thing, putting that thing in danger. I'm like, okay, we're going to win this game. Joe Brady came into that game and was like, Josh, you are not going to do this to us this week, bro. You're not doing it to us this week. And when, like I told Boss, when they scored that touchdown, throwing not one single time, I turned the game off. You know what I mean? That's when I knew we lost the team. That's when I knew. Like,
I turned the game off.
Yeah. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm sitting here watching. I'm freaking out. Like, there's no way. Micah's still at DN?
Yeah.
The same stuff is happening. For real. Stretch play up the middle.
Yep.
I'm like, bruh.
So you think it was Dan Quinn being stubborn?
Yeah, because there's like in every game, what was the adjustment? Name one.
None.
And that right there, you know what I mean? There's just no way, you know what I mean?
He seemed checked out, man.
Working,
yeah.
And then you're not, you know what I mean? The best thing about football is halftime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the best thing about football. You know what I mean? Halftime. You know what I mean? You see something and you're like, all right, we didn't expect this. Let's change it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
Speaking to his
second half.
Go ahead.
You know what I mean? You come out in the second half, you know what I mean? We can, you know what I mean? We can make something shake. Like you said, look at the 49ers. Both playoff games. They came into the second half a whole different team, both games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things where we're not capitalizing on adjustments. You know what I mean?
Right.
I credit Mike McCarthy because I feel like he listened to the players. You know what I mean? He made those adjustments. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's why I was like, I'm not big on getting rid of McCarthy. You know what I mean? No. I like the signing as soon as he came. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be the difference maker. He knows how to win. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And Dan Quinn, you know what I mean? Yeah, he a good guy. You know what I mean? He's a good guy. You know what I mean? He a good coach. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? He's shown that he's not good with making adjustments. You know what I'm saying? As a head coach, defensive coordinator, whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's just like second half collapses. You know what I mean? It's a good one. And you know what I mean? At first, you know what I mean? We're like, oh, you know what I mean? Maybe, you know what I mean? He took that deep dive on himself and, you know what I mean? He recreated his defense with so. And then, you know what I mean? I watched that 49ers game and, you know what I mean? When you're watching from the skybox and you seeing what's going on, like how Tony Romo's breaking down what's going on in real time.
Yeah.
And he's saying Kyle Shanahan knew what Dan Quinn was going to come in and run. And he ran everything he knew that could beat it. Like, you know what I mean? What can you do there? You know what I'm saying? Like, you not putting your players in positions to win. You know
win.
I mean? You're going to lose your locker room. You know what I mean? And
you're making these guys play hero ball, you know, when they don't need to. Even when they ran their 5-1-5, man, you would see LVE or Clark or Evans even playing edge. When you got first round draft picks at edge, sitting on the bench.
Too much experimenting.
You got Williams and Fowler sitting on the bench so that LVE and Clark can play outside linebacker at edge. Like, for what? Doesn't make those decisions are the ones I'm talking about that don't make sense. And I think to your adjustment point, Terrence, great point. When you got a defensive coordinator that's all the way up in the box, he can't just go on the sideline and say, hey, do this, you know, and talk to the players coming off the sideline or coming off the field while they coming to the sideline. Can't really do that. He got to make phone calls or get on the headgear, talk to whoever got the green dot on, or call an assistant down there on the field and tell them to kind of middleman the conversation. So that chain of communication gets lengthier when you're up in the box. And I think that's a big part of having a lack of adjustments too, is the fact that you're all the way in the sky. You know, you can't look these guys in the eye or feel the energy coming off the sideline.
You can't manage them emotionally. You can't manage them emotionally.
Me neither. Not a defensive coordinator. He needs to be on the field.
Yeah.
You need to be on the field. You need to feel what's happening. You know what I'm saying? You need to look a guy in the eye and see like he beat or he dejected or he angry or whatever. You need to be able to feel that.
I need to be able to get in you. Can't. You can't establish no fear from the box.
Right. Nobody cares what you're talking about. Yeah. They on the sideline looking at the sound. They record their next cameo for sounds of the sideline. They don't care what you
Hey man, I ain't gonna let y'all keep talking and messing up my super chats, man. All right, here we go.
Do your thing, man.
We gonna be quick with them though.
Go
Appreciate
ahead.
y'all. He say DQ was hoping Mike got fired. And as soon as he saw Mike was coming back, he looked for a way out. See, it's something like that, man. It's something like,
that's what I come down to sabotage. You know what I'm saying? I can see that. I can honestly really see that. But then, you know what I mean? It's just like
that makes sense.
It do make sense.
Right? You know what I mean? The NFL is a business, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like the way the players gotta show up and perform and do their job so they keep a job. The same way he had to come into that game, like there's no way you coached the game like that and thought you was going to get a good head coaching game. No, I mean that's what I should say.
And then you over here because you mad you try to
now
take
out
out
here in
players.
Washington,
It's
you
looking
about to get
savage. You over here going straight for our players. And you going straight for the players that Mike McCarthy. Listen, Al Harris was a Mike McCarthy guy.
Yeah.
What we doing? Witt was a It's like, bro, I'm peeping you, bro. You over here trying to pull Mike guys.
Yeah.
Where your tree? Where your You looking like you offended, man. I can't wait to play you bald head nerd.
Man,
oh man, oh man, he's going right at it.
Because there's no way.
I can't wait to play him because if
against that defense.
Yeah, we put a run game together. Now if he go over there, he start using. You'll be 100% right, Terrence. If he goes over there and he starts using Jabril Cox and traditional linebackers again, then you know he was sabotaging us here. Because if he don't come out there with nickel and safeties only, then come on, bro. Why you do that here? He came here with Keanu Neal when he came here and tried to play him at linebacker. And then you would see guys like Anthony Barr not getting no tick. Or you see Keanu Neal taking guys off the field who need to be on the field. It's like, all right, okay, you tried it. Now, you know, he did it this year with Bell. When you had Overshawn go down, we cut Jabril Cox and we cut Devin Harper.
That makes no sense.
You need linebackers.
You
clearly.
need linebackers. What you doing?
When they did that, I said, "Oh, they must really want Micah to be a linebacker then."
Or
and they
LBE.
still didn't even do that. So it was like, y'all, that didn't make any sense.
It didn't make no sense at all.
A lot of things that make sense.
And you ain't lying that. And see, hold on, real quick, Terrence, because I caught what you said on that, Akoye. I don't think everybody else caught it. I caught what you said. Where you say they must really want Mike, they must really want Mike at linebacker. You know what I mean? It's like
if you cutting linebackers,
you cutting linebackers.
Because if you don't have any,
you
got Mike in the room, it must be because you plan on using him.
Right. It's the only thing that made sense, and that made me think of.
I still when they start talking about money, Micah is a playmaker that he's a big enough brand already. He's a playmaker. And when you look at the position shouldn't matter for a guy like him because, and I'm talking about not to himself,
you're talking about impact.
But to the team.
Yeah, the impact.
Because you're not changing, he's not changing the pay scale of middle linebacker for any other middle linebacker other than himself. Reason I say that is Fred Warner can't ask for Micah money if Micah breaks the bank at middle linebacker. So it doesn't bother, it's not like it bothers you to pay Micah as a middle linebacker, because even if you give him a crazy deal at middle linebacker, those other linebackers that are asking for Micah money, can you produce 17 sacks and 130 tackles? No? Then you can't ask for Micah money. That's why he's getting paid that kind of money. So it shouldn't matter where Micah is because, to be honest, I know it's not going to, but even if you put him at edge and let him get his sacks and you pay him as an edge rusher because that's the position that he's at, that he has, you can still play him wherever you want him. It doesn't matter what you call him. So pay him his money because he's worth that money. But he still needs to make the most impact on the field. It doesn't matter. He could be a positionless player for all I care. He played 3-tech, 4-tech, outside linebacker, middle linebacker, nose tackle, stand-up nose tackle last season. So he don't have a position for real. He don't got one.
If you ask me,
we asking, go.
He didn't play linebacker because they wanted to keep the numbers down.
Nope.
If you ask me.
That's the only reason. That's the only thing that makes sense from a guy that had 89 tackles his first season and then been trending down productivity-wise ever since. That's the only thing that makes sense, bruh. You got a lot of sense. That's some real shit.
Hey, you see it everywhere. Akoye, you see it everywhere.
Let him cook.
I didn't know he was still cooking. My bad. Go ahead.
Touching the last week, because the question, Boss was like, when we was talking about the selfish aspect and the money aspect, I was just like, you got to look at it both ways. Obviously Mike is going to win top dollar. He wants to be a pass rusher, he wants to be a linebacker, he'll do whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, does Jerry want to pay pass rusher money to a guy who's going to want to play linebacker or should play linebacker? It comes down to both ways, you know what I mean? And that's why, you know what I mean? I tell a lot of people, you know what I mean? The politics of football is crazy, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Who would have knew, you know what I mean? Like, before Des Bryant came out and said what he said, who would have knew that he was telling Romo, hey, throw me the ball?
Give me the
you know
ball.
what I mean? Like, forget that route. Throw me the ball. I'm going to run this route. Throw me the ball. Like, they don't want me to touch these. They don't want me to touch these numbers for this money. Nah, I want to win the game. Give me the ball. You know what I'm saying? And it comes down, you know what I mean? The same thing with Coop. You know what I mean? Same thing with Cooper. You know
man, you on point.
It's a couple of times in the media he's just like, bro, like, they're sitting on these routes. They keep making me run these routes. Like, they're sitting on them. They keep making me run them. They're sitting on them. He was like, that, bro. I'm not running another comeback route. I'm going deep, bro. I'm going deep. Dak, like, run the route. First of all, Dak, bro. If that's the type of guy you is, that's why you still in Dallas.
Right.
If that's the type of guy you is, that's why you still in Dallas. But Cooper ends up running the fly route, and you know what I mean? It turns into a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny about what you said, man?
The type of guy you is,
that's the only reason I'm a content creator is because of what they did to Dez when Dez came out with that. And I'm like, suddenly Dez just forgot how to run routes and play football when Dak got here? I don't think so. So and when you just touched on Coop, when Coop didn't take that the jabby jab, when he didn't want the jabby jab and he wasn't really listening to what Jerry wanted him to do, suddenly they would be like, Coop just disappear in games or disappear for games. He ain't never disappeared on the film though. He's still wide the hell open. He just not getting the ball. You know what I mean? So and that's not coming at that. I'm just saying there's definitely a lot of politics when it comes to who gets the ball. And Dez ain't the only one who said it. Cole Beasley said that. You know, even Terrence Williams said that. He said, I was not designed to get the ball in this offense. He said it was really designed. It was for everything was really designed to go through Dez or Witten.
Even CD Lamb this year alluded to that.
Tony Romo told me to do something and I did it.
CD Lamb alluded to it this year.
Yeah.
In the Miami game, when he said, man, someone right. See, you don't say that unless you got trust issues.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then we gotta all be honest, man. This front office give every one of them boys a reason to have trust issues. It is. Like, you can't see how can Amari Cooper be your teammate, but you not on guard? Huh? And and I'm next to get paid. I'm CD Lamb, I'm next to get paid. And I just saw what happened to my boy where he was under targeted and ran up out of town for a 5th rounder. But then I don't think it can't happen to me. Come on, bro.
But here's the thing, though, dog. Like, here's the thing that people don't pay attention to. I'm all for what we're saying in regards to once you know, it's the devil you know. Like, you know how this front office is, right?
Yeah.
The way you make your career in Dallas, honestly, I understand people want the biggest payday they can possibly get.
You will say team friendly. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why? Because you know you're in a market where you're going to make the other kind of money, endorsement deals anyway. That's one. But two,
not
tell
always.
Me hold on. Tell me which career you would rather have.
I know you're coming from. I'm with you.
I'm gonna give it to you real quick.
I'm with
when
you.
You look at, you know, I'm a boxing coach, right? So I'm in boxing.
We might spar.
In boxing, you got this. You got Danny Garcia, who's never been the top of the game, right? He's been a champion, but I mean, like, he's never been the guy where you think he's pound for pound best. And then you have a guy like Terrence Crawford. Who do you think has made more money in their career? Up until the last fight with Errol Spence, maybe he topped him with that $30 million payday. But before that fight,
I'm Danny doing it against Garcia. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Because he's always getting, paid good money. He's not waiting for the big fish. When you look at all the people who've been paid in Dallas, none of them are here. They all get chased out of town. Whereas guys like Tyron Smith has been paid for a long time. He keep getting paid. Not the best money. People say they hate his deal, but he's still here. You know what I'm saying? You had a guy like Tyrone Crawford. You're like, why they keep this dude? Because of the money. He was a good player, good enough player, and he was taking team friendly deals, and he made more money than some of the guys who were trying to get that big money and got chased out of town before they even can see it. And when they get chased out of town, it's not too many guys that get chased out of town and then they go somewhere and they get that big money or get, career paydays unless they got chased out of town early, like Travaris Ward or Chidobe, those types of guys. Yeah, they went somewhere else and they won Super Bowls and did things. And even Randy Gregory now and Bossman are in the Super Bowl. So you got those types of guys, yeah. But for the most part, when you look at what happened with Dez, Beasley, Terrence Williams, Austin.
I never understood why we let him go either. Never understood.
Yeah, Jalen. You see these guys, like they were much better off. Like Jalen probably was much better off taking a team-friendly situation, dropping the injury clause, and just staying here. They probably would have kept him. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's how you stay in Dallas. Anybody who bucks that system, they're not going to say it. They're not going to tell you that they take that personal. But when you buck the system or you hold out, they eventually going to get you out of here. Zeke won the holdout, got his check. But then who you think started the whole Zeke can't run the ball no more conversation? When he split in carries with TP. Exactly. The difference between Zeke getting 11 to 1,200 yards a season and not is about 150 more to 200 carries, which he would have gotten, whether his knee was messed up or not, had TP not been eating into his carries. You know what I'm saying?
So I see it both
they
ways.
They started
Akoye.
that.
I see it both ways. I'm gonna give
what was
it
that,
real quick, Terrence.
That Kobe year when they said, "Oh, Tony Pollard turned the ball a little bit." That was that were planning Zeke's exit from them.
Yep.
So I see it both ways, real quick. So that Jerry and Steve and them built an empire that gives you massive eyes, right? And you can capitalize on that from all kind of opportunities. You can be a special teamers here and you get all kind of deals and events and promotions and all kind of stuff because of the massive eyes they've built. And so because of that, I think they looking at it like, because of what we've built, y'all go give us a discount. It's a real miser mentality, So then they put their foot down on it. And that's why when I created this, I was noticing that basically all their best take long-term contracts or they are run out.
Yep.
That is how it is. You go give us some kind of discount. It's gonna be in the average per year, or it's gonna be in the duration of the contract. But it's what it is. Yeah. And
but when you willing to wiggle, they gonna work with you, man. Look at D-Law still here. Cause he willing to take he gonna rework his deal. Zach Martin, they gonna rework his deal. They'll keep reworking your deal over and over again. That's really what it is here, man. And if you think it's any different, you think you're going to get your payday and then you going, still be here, you lying to yourself. They haven't done it yet. They don't care who you are. The moment they look at that stat sheet and they say that balance sheet and they say you taking up numbers, you better be perfect.
I call it a family philosophy.
Yeah, you better be perfect because they're looking to get you out of here otherwise.
And it's not even just players. It's everything that work under them. If Akoye, if you try to go work for .com right now, they go offer you the lowest in the industry as a $1 billion company.
People don't get when they start talking about us on YouTube. They be like, "Yo, dude, won't you hire? Why you don't work for the Cowboys?" They can't afford me. I would not do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
because I'm not doing it for no 50 grand, bro. You crazy? Hell no, I'm not doing it.
They will offer you 50 grand with a straight face.
Hell no, I ain't
hold
doing
on,
that shit.
Man, I swear, man, I'm doing y'all so bad. They go lowball and stick to it too. They go look. Somebody said, "Can I get the sound effect for DQ scheme, the Fort Knox?" I got you, big man. I'm gonna give you that Fort Knox for Dan Quinn's.
The diarrhea defense.
Yeah, diarrhea. Yeah,
I'm ran through.
I can't wait to see that bald head dude. I want to run through him. Now I'm sick of him. That boy tried to get our coaches over and over. We had to actually block him from recruiting our coaches. Get out of here, you old. My boss, I think we should be grateful of the Chiefs and their success since they used to be the Dallas Texans.
Yeah, we're not bathing in that.
That's
man.
a good one.
I mean, I give all the credit to Patrick Mahomes, man, but man, I mean, you see what happens when you have good coaching.
Yeah,
great coaching. You see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Patrick Mahomes is a different type of player, but mainly on the defensive side of the ball is what I'm speaking on. They're not where they are if it wasn't for that defense. I'm gonna just put it to you like that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
They definitely not the same. My boy say we now have a DC who believes in linebackers. How much better are our safeties going to be failing to stop the run attack? Agree, man. That's a real good one.
You watch. I mean, if you go look at the Vikings over the years and look at what Harrison Smith was doing, and who's the other guy? Was his last
Bullet.
name Harrison?
I think it was Bullet, right? Number 34.
Yeah, something like that. Those guys played really well. You know what I mean, in the box, especially.
Yeah.
I love Harrison Smith. You know what I'm saying? I love him.
Harrison Smith was a beast. And the way he used it. But when you even go back to the reason I started liking the Cowboys again in the first place, like I stopped watching football altogether until they drafted Roy Williams. Roy Williams came out of nowhere and just started knocking dudes out. That was Mike Zimmer. And then he followed Mike Zimmer to Cincinnati and was doing it there too. So Mike Zimmer knows how to get the best out of guys like that, man. Like when he got a guy that plays like his hair is on fire, he gonna use him. So I just showed a bunch of film of Micah Parsons in the A gap. I can't wait to see him standing there in the A gap on first and second down, and then moving around on third down and confusing the hell out of people. I know that's what he's going to do with him, and I just can't wait to see it, man. For me, it's a no-brainer in regards to it was going to be Rex or it was going to be Zim. And I think Zim edged it out through the fact he got the history there.
The history,
I definitely feel like Rex, because Rex is going to get the most out of the guys too.
Yeah, Rex ain't playing. But Rex, I do agree that it would have been harder for these guys to learn a Rex Ryan defense fast.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Because I can't even watch it.
And this defense wasn't built for Rex. Like when he did what he did with those other teams, he built his own defense. He would have been inheriting Dan Quinn's. So that's another hurdle.
I think he has the talent here. He would just move these guys around.
Guys like we got on our defense, we got guys like it makes your job a little more easy.
It's a little easier, yeah. Like we got some guys.
I didn't quite see the personnel fit, especially with the stuff that he was doing, to having boys lose.
Oh, he's gonna bring in his own guys for sure.
We was gonna have to reshuffle. It was gonna be different. Yeah. It was gonna be a personnel moves that.
For sure.
Yeah, it was gonna be weird.
Asked Mozzie Smith to lose 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah,
that was craziness.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Did him dirty, man. They did him dirty. I'd have been snapping about it. I wouldn't have did it if I was Mozzie.
Yeah, like you wasted a whole year of that man's career.
And you don't know if he ever gonna get that weight back. Like he got to now work in the offseason to get it back. I mean, and they just wasted that. Like I feel like
they wasted that, and they wasted Neville Gallimore.
He lost good weight and can add more muscle to his weight. I mean, more muscle to his frame. It could be a good thing. It all depends on what he lost. You know what I'm saying?
And how he lost it. If he lost muscle mass, that's a problem.
Terrence, that's 40 pounds, man.
I know, but I'm saying like
of muscle. You can't add 40 pounds of muscle back in.
But you can add 20, 25.
You can. You can do 20, 25.
You know what I mean?
Damn, man.
That pissed me off.
Yeah, that's
because he could get lean to get mean again, and you know what I mean, be better for it. You know what I mean? It all depends. You know what I mean? It all depends.
Man,
you right on that 25. That's about the max I can see. You know what I mean? In 6 months, you're gonna need at least a year to get 40 pounds of muscle.
Oh man, it don't gotta be muscle, man.
Yeah, do it dirty. Do it dirty.
I don't care how you do it. You can put the weights in your socks. Just get that 40 pounds back on.
He said, just get that dirty weight. Just do it dirty.
Eat some cheesesteaks, bro.
Hey, OC say that too. He say, man, just get dirty weight. Just get dirty.
They did him dirty trying to turn him into a pass rusher, man.
He's not a. He didn't even need to be a pass rusher. That's why I like Zimmer. Zimmer uses 2-1 techs. He'll have 2 big guys in the middle of the field that you ain't running through. So I hope he uses Mozzie and Hankins in the middle of the field.
When you got those 2 big guys right there, they're going to be stout in the run, and the quarterback can't step up into the pocket and just be able to see, hey, he over right there. I got him. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can't step up into the pocket, man, it gets real dark for the quarterback, and that's where you start seeing your ends get a lot of sacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And we seen that where Micah actually blitzed the A gap, and you know what I mean. He got those double teams in the A gap.
That's the other thing. You got two big guys there, Micah in the middle of the field. Can't nobody block Micah because you got two guys that can soak up double teams in front of him. He could just run. He could just pick gaps and kill shit. Plus your defensive ends that are out there with him, whether that be Sam Williams and D Law or DA and Fehoko or whoever you have out there at DN, if he's standing in the A gap, Micah is anyway. That's even crazier because now you got 3 pass rushers on the field at the same time. Like that's gonna be good, man. Like I said, I'm hyped. I'm good. Conversation a bit now.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to see what Zimmer gonna do, man.
Yeah, man.
It's on.
All right, here we go. When y'all hear that right there, that means we closing out the show. When y'all hear that music right there, that means we closing out the show, man.
Yes, sir.
So, obviously, man, we appreciate you boys coming rocking it with Boss Land. First time we had this, that's always risky too, right? Where you have people, we don't know each other's flow, we don't know when the ball is coming, but I trusted that we all knew football enough to kind of jive, and we did. So I will say this as my final words. I'll go ahead and kick it off. I'm very happy about Zimmer. I almost said Zimmer, Coach Zimmer. I feel like the most important thing I want to get out of him is I think we're going to get the discipline that we've been lacking. This defense has been lacking discipline. We now have, especially when you have him mixed with Mike McCarthy, a good cop and a bad cop. You know? So I think that he's exactly what we needed. Now, schematically, I will ride with you, Akoye. I think you made an excellent case on Rex. An excellent case on the schematic benefit of Rex. You know, and I'm not going to fight common sense. You killed that. You know, you killed your whole content on that. I just really still wanted Zimmer. Majorly. More so because we need the discipline. The two things that I said I want to see from my new D coordinator was somebody that was going to be a disruptor and somebody that was going to be able to keep wise continuity. I feel like you get that. I think you get wise continuity and you get a guy that's going to be a disruptor of even the politics. The politics of favoring your drafted guys over your free agents. He don't run his ship like that. He coming in with a brand of fairness. He's not going to ruin it for Dallas Cowboys front office. That's my final words. It's on you, T. Final words.
Hey, you touched everything on the head. Like, you know what I mean? It's a couple guys, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have minded, you know what I mean? But yeah, I like Zimmer. I really like that he was a Cowboy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? Once you're a part of an organization, you know what I mean? That organization, you know what I mean? It's a part of you, you know what I mean, for life, you know what I'm saying? And, you know what I mean? He was around when we're having a lot of success, and, you know what I mean? Success is one of those things that, you know what I mean, when you're around it, it rubs off, you know what I'm saying? So I was definitely happy about that. He knows how to run a defense, you know what I mean? Great defensive mind, and, you know what I mean? He was successful as a head coach too, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like he can come in and really change some things around for sure.
You closing it out, Akoye?
Man, appreciate it. Number one, I want to say, man, first time I've been able to do content with or alongside TP. You the other TP or the only TP at this point, because I don't think the other TP gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? I think he out. But real one, man. You was saying stuff that I was like, he saying that? You allowed to say? You allowed to say that? You know what I'm saying? You a real one for saying it, man. I like the fact that you ain't scared to say what it is and what it ain't. I appreciate that. So it was a pleasure doing.
I'm a firm believer, and I'm a realist coach. I'm a fan second.
There you go. That's all we can be out here, man. As long as we doing that, I can respect it. But as far as the coaching pick, until I knew we were going after Rex, Zimmer was my number one guy. Once I heard about Rex, I said I would rather have Rex because of the personality, the 3-4, and the wisdom. But if it wasn't Rex, it was Zim. And the reason being is one, when he was here before, I loved our defenses. Like, you can't tell me people didn't fear 31 coming across the middle of the field. Like some of the best Dallas Cowboy highlights are of Roy Williams smacking guys across the middle of the field. He was just killing people, man. And then you had DeMarcus Ware doing the same. You had, guys that were like on this defense that you really could say, hey, it's something exciting to watch. And you expected those guys to actually change games and win games for you. So I think we got that back. And I'm excited because we do. And then having a guy that can hold these guys accountable, not only because he was here for the legendary teams and around those guys, those legendary players, some of them already in the Ring of Honor, some of them already in the Hall of Fame. He was here for all that at our, when we were once great before. So who better than a guy like him to do that and bring the respect with it, because these players can't just come in and just tune him out. You can't. You're not tuning Zimmer out. And I watched, just to kind of get an understanding for his different levels of handling players, because some people say he only had a hard hand, and I don't think so. The players who loved him understood his nature and how he moved. But I've even watched him bring players in. I watched a lot of his candids and his mic'd ups, and watch how he talks to the players that he's trying to get more out of. And I just think he has a ride you mentality, because that's what he feels works the most when it comes to players that want to be pushed. And I think those are the players that he wants. Players that don't want to be pushed, let's face it, they're like the students that want to be left alone. You know what I mean? And I can be honest. When I was in school, I was that guy. I didn't need to study to get A's or B's or C's. I could just come in and do well, right, without studying. But the classes that I aced were always the classes where there was an asshole teacher. The classes, I'm a dude that was an athlete his whole life but failed gym. You know why? Because I cut gym, because I didn't give a damn about it. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a coach that's loose like that, where you could just come in and be one of those guys that has talent, has potential, but doesn't really respect the environment, you're not going to get the best out of a guy like that, like a Sam Williams doing that. You're not going to get the best out of a Micah Parsons when you put him in a position where he's saying, hey, I know I'm at edge, I know I can pass rush, but I don't want to set the edge and contain to pass the ball carrier to anybody. I want to go get it. And that's the truth. You know why you know that? The reason I didn't come at Micah Parsons about effort, even though they were like, oh, he wasn't running hard on the edge sometimes, right? You know why I didn't come at him about that this season? Because we're talking about a guy who came in, and when we were on Hard Knocks or whatever that was, LVE said, hey, man, you can't make every tackle. He said, why not? So that's a guy that wants to make every play. So what happened to that? He didn't just stop being that guy. He stopped believing that they were going to use him like he was that guy. And I think that's what you see when you see a Micah Parsons looking frustrated on the field. He wants to be involved in the game and in every play. That's who you have as a star defender on this team. And I'm glad we got to a coach that's going to utilize that. So, I mean, that's all I got for you, man. But I appreciate you having me.